Bonjour, Madame et chers amis. Je m'appelle Kushalya Fernando. Today I'm going to talk about pays Francophone, French-speaking countries. When it comes to the definition, Francophone can be described as having or belong to a population using French as its first or sometimes second language. These are the 29 Francophone countries which considered as the only official language. And I'm not going to talk about each and every country at this moment. Carte de Francophone, or the map of French speakers. This map illustrates the French speakers around the world, and you can see there are some hotspots in 5 continents. Most of the French speakers are from African continent. L'histoire, or history of French speakers. How did the French language spread around the world? Simply, the answer is le colonialisme français, or French colonialism. From the beginning of the 16th century and the late 19th century, France was one of the largest colonial powers. When it comes to the French-speaking countries, the first place goes to France. So I'm not going to talk about France because we already know too much of France. The second largest Francophone country is Canada. Although Canada is a predominantly English-speaking country, there are Francophone communities throughout its province. According to the recent census, French is the native language of around 7.2 million Canadians, or it can say as 20% of the total population. Most native French speakers live in Quebec, and where it is the majority official language. In 1534, French explorer reached Newfoundland shores in Canada, and they succeed in establishing a permanent settlement. Finally, Canada established its first official language act in 1969, status of English and French at the federal level. La Belgique is the third largest country, and the community of French in Belgium has its own parliament, government, and administration. They have an official flag too. This settlement is home to 80% of all Francophone Belgians. This includes 4.5 million native speakers. La Suisse, taking the fourth place. Most of native Francophone people lives in Romandy area. In 2015, around 2 million people of the country speaks French as their primary language. République du Congo is the second largest in all of Africa and the most populous officially Francophone country in the world. Capital of Congo is Kinshasa, is the world's second largest French-speaking city after Paris. When the country was a Belgian colony, schools making a trend of teaching French after the independence. French became as the sole language of education at all levels. Finally, République de Madagascar. The official language of Madagascar are Malagasy and French. French is spoken among the educated population of the French colony. In their first constitution of 1958, French were named as the official language. Importance the pays francophone. Significances of francophone countries. French is second only to English, and French was found to be the second most studied language in the world, and now la francophone is larger than the Commonwealth, and French is spoken on 5 different countries, and French is an official language of many of world's organizations like UN, EU, NATO, etc. Garde d'Algérie, or the Algerian War. Why I choose Algerian War? Because it is the most famous independence movement when considering the French colonialism. So French invaded Algeria in 1830, and Algeria became a French military colony, and they got their independence on 1962 from France, and the war led an increase in the number of French Muslims from Algeria. But now Algeria's official language is Arabic. Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, the International Organization of the Francophonie. This modern organization was created in 1970, and the headquarters are in Paris. And the next Francophone Summit 2021 is going to held in Jerba, Tunisia. Francophone on Asie, French speakers in Asia. Asia is the smallest French speaking continent, and in Asia, French remains some traces in their colonial past countries like Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And French is their administrative language, and in some cases, their diplomatic language is French. And our neighbor in India, there's a city called Pondicherry in Tamil Nadu state. They still has a community of French people, and French is their official language. And below the slide, you can see these images show the landscape and architecture of the India's French colony. Uh, Tondos Fichua Don Lepei Francophone Future Trends in Francophone Countries. President Emmanuel Macron has described Africa as the continent of the future because 85% of French speakers could live in Africa by 2050, and Africans making this French language is a truly global language. And according to the latest projections, this French will be spoken by 750 million people in future. So, guys, it's better to learn French now as another foreign language. I'm sure it will help us in future. So, Mercy Wakuf,